myself. A little exhausted, but
yeah. So, I'm gonna have a beer. Latest tidbit: lumber crisis kicked off, and it turns out the last Blaine County mayor and the interim mayor actually never wanted to invest any of their budget into wood. So this crisis from the very onset has been lies to the public, if I am to believe two woodworkers I just got done talking to.
isn't that spectacular?
Yeah, so I just got done learning about that. Because I had been led to believe through them that this shit was like no good from the very beginning, and well, it turns out that it's not the case. But anyways,
well, you're doing something about it, right? So.
Couple things. I want to get you up to speed. A lot's happened. We put together a. So I requested my FOIAs. The first one was a conversation between myself and Den Shiesty where I was providing him some kind of legal advice, right? And this is pertaining a big series of things where the marshals are like investigating him, and in my best, like without knowing all the details because you can't go into them, it almost sounds like they were interfering with an active investigation to the level that to me comes across as obstructionist in like I would not be surprised if some of these marshals are committing felony obstruction inherently. But whether it's true or not, he was being coerced into going down and speaking to the marshals on the record. And as he's like telling me this information in this 5-minute period, marshals were following me and or him. And it struck me as odd because it pissed me off. It's like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, what is your criminal reason? Whatever. So I go in and put a FOIA request. I'm like, this happened here. I want to know what was happening. Am I on that report? What is your criminal reason, etc., etc.? And I said, you know what? On top of that, I'm going to put a second one. I want 4 months of my fucking records with every single one that I am referenced in, right? Yeah. Because if you're doing this, then what the fuck else are you doing? Like what is this? It just, and this is on the back of a bunch of other crazy shit I've witnessed them do, and the hostilities, and the attempt to apply what I think is like an abuse of their power to make individuals do things, right? And so whether it's true or not, well, let's see what the reports say. As it turns out, they refused. They said my requests are vague. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
No, you requested records specifically for you. That's not vague. Records that reference you.
Yep. So they played that card, and they see the other one's an active investigation. Now, there was a slip up, and it turns out that there was an accidental mentioning to me that there was fucking drones being used to watch me and Den. And so I had to go to a judge and get them to review it. And so I'm supposed to be getting it soon because another justice has to be conferred with. And the way that the judge sort of told me is that they're claiming that it's like logistically too much work or impossible, which I know is not true, simply because I've requested these kind of records in the past for people that had been facing charges of like criminal negligence of a firearm, raids, and all kinds of stuff, right? Because that's how you have to do it. It's the only way to obtain the information to be able to fight those things.
So do you think they're stonewalling and they're trying to reach some sort of conclusion, whatever it is they're looking for, and
yeah,
they're just trying to delay until they can find whatever it is?
I believe so, and I also believe they probably got a bunch of horse shit that they don't want me to see, because otherwise it doesn't like pass the it doesn't pass like the sniff test, because I got that response like 2 hours later or something, like very quickly. And and the whole logistical argument, like I said, doesn't make any sense. So
well, it doesn't really matter if it's a lot of work for them. They're required.
Exactly. And I also know that there's ways you can obtain it if you can't search it. Like, I'm very familiar with that, right? They can put a request in to do a deeper search. And even then, let's say they could only get me 80% of the documents and the rest would require a deeper search and might pend. They can still give me something along those lines. But right now, it looks really bad for them because they're coming back and saying, we're not going to do it. Right? So while I'm waiting for this, guess what happens the next day? Angel goes and updates the FOIA legislation. Oh, you haven't seen this yet?
No.
Oh, boy.
Am I going to be upset?
Search freedom and read everything that's under FOIA request protocol, all the bullet points. And please read through it, each line at a time, and I'd love to hear your take on it, because there's a couple things hidden in there. Am I going to be upset?
The requester must submit a reason for the request. But the more records being sought, the more substantial the reasoning should be? What?
Yep. Yeah.
The reasoning is that you have the right to request the record. Well, that's horseshit.
I think Sera Nade is the first person besides you to pick apart that first. Yep. Well, Sera Nade comes from the age that I was practicing law.
But $3,000.
Lost it. Yep. Per document.
The fuck is this?
The Nino patch. Extortion.
So
there's another gem in there. Is a request must be given to the department responsible for the report, which you would not know unless you conducted the FOIA. Brave, thank you for 14 months. So I got pissed off. And I audited the very legislation. Excuse me. I audited the legislation audit or legislative proposal legislation. The thing that, by the way, mind you, was also updated. So if you look at the legislation proposal and approval process, after or right before me and Pred got elected, they added a new segment on the for San Andreas Department of Justice, which reads, justices are a uncontested authority. That entire thing was contested. All the justices were conflicted. And the state authorities that oversee all authorities came back with a verdict, and they agreed that the very document that was concocted by the justices that allow them to, at this point, do what they have been doing is unconstitutional. So all legislation is now paused in San Andreas until all parties gather and come up with an agreement how to move forward. I have Michael putting together a document with some of the details. I'd love to send it your way when he's done. We chopped up some notes on it. Pred's likely to come on board. He's got some, let's just say, slightly more grandiose ideas. I'm trying to come with a little bit more of a, let's find something that fits and doesn't cause World War III. As I can tell you that the day the decision, this document came down from the state authorities, Angel was particularly pissed with me, understandably. I just took her off the ivory tower and I placed her next to us. And I don't think she was very happy with that.
Well, I mean, that is unfortunate for her, but it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. In that very conversation, two things came out. She referenced my FOIA request as an abuse.
Did she elaborate on that?
I don't think she knew how. And that's the best way I can explain it. She tried to argue that it's too much work and you can't this and the system this and yabba dabba doo, which none of which I know is, you know, I know it was just bullshit. Like I said, the first time that was alleged, I mean, I spoke to the judge who reviewed my FOIA and I said, brother, you can come back with 80% and say the rest is hard to obtain because of whatever, but by doing absolutely nothing, you're showing, you know, there's a problem already, right?
Yeah, so it's either, you know, my initial thought is that likely they're covering for their ineptitude in paperwork. That may be part of it.
Yeah.
But the rest, I don't know. It's still, it's screaming that they're stonewalling. It's,
well, the stonewalling at this point puts them right now, they're past the window. And because they've been dragging their feet, you know, it's supposedly going to be produced. Honestly, if it's not produced at this stage, I have a lawsuit on my hands, and a very easy impeachment hearing. Yeah. Not only because of her statement directly to me, but what the judge would have to, you know, under oath have to state under when questioned on the stand. But, you know, retaliatory legislation by a justice is I feel like very easy to very easily to evidence
Yeah, well, it's all there for anybody to see.
It's the story fucking writes itself in this case, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of. The one thing I really dislike about, especially with the fee in particular, right, is now all of a sudden you're making it cost prohibitive for somebody to seek justice. That is not a good thing. So it might only be $3,000 for one document, but say
Oh my God!
requires
There was sanction.
8, right? By 3,000, all of a sudden, you can't expect that an
What
individual
the fuck?
may or may not be able to pay for that, right?
Bro, this is hilarious. Yeah, and let me give you an example. If, let's say, Pred went for a FOIA and he had 10 reports referencing the firearms, even if you skip the needing to know particulars or who is the department and you skip that, that's a $30,000 FOIA request.
Yeah.
So all of this is going to get reverted. Michael is Moss and Robin. I think right now I have penciled in for and that's Chief of Police Robin, or Chief of Police Moss, are going to be tackling the contest on that, and also the contest on the Marshals legislation that inherently was Angel's way of taking over power over all departments. And
Yeah.
I think I mentioned some of this to you already, and she mentioned this in that brief meeting where she sort of crashed out on both me and Pred. She stated she really wanted to make a point that the LSPD is not my police department, even though that phraseology means a lot of things. Note she took umbrage to that, where I jokingly said, like, she said, "Oh, I hate these meetings," and I say, "Angel, why you get so pissed at our PD meetings?" So she goes, "That's not your PD," like, you know what I mean?
Public services within Los Angeles County fall under the mayor's office.
Exactly. So that's going to be another entire boulder I'm going to be moving, because I've kind of been done with her shit, if I'm going to be frank. And I don't necessarily want to see her get impeached unless necessary, because at the end of the day, not many people want the job of justice. And, as long as everyone's in their lane, all the better. But before we go on to those topics, I did want to, get you kind of acclimated with some of the ongoings.
Yeah, well, I do appreciate it. I certainly feel like I'm definitely out of the loop.
Yeah. And if at any stage you want more on this or whatever, if you're around, you're more than welcome to join some of the powwows me and some of the lawyers have. In fact, there's some tea that's probably going to be on the way. But in advance of that, I did want to... I looked over Clap and I looked over Pals. I've given Michael a copy of both to help take a look at it. And well, let me start by saying, where are you with this in terms of thought process?
Which one would you like me to start with?
Either or.
I'll start with Pals, just because it's the one that would establish a budget. So, in terms of the 50,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just put a number in there. I was going to consult with you and see what you felt like might be, an appropriate number. But for now, that's just what I put in there.
Let's say no more than 1% of the budget.
Okay.
We have 210. Wait, we have $210,000, $210 million. Okay. The reason, so I'll tell you what my reason for that is. And by the way, any opinion that I got, feel free to push back on it if you think there's, for whatever reason.
Okay.
The less we need to change legislation, the better, because economy fluctuates. by putting it to 1%, like, you know, it gives us a lot of room while maintaining some level of like cap, right?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I do like that idea. It's flexible. And, well, it establishes a budget that, yeah, like you said, is flexible. And wouldn't require us to go back in to audit anything or change the legislation in any way later on.
Yep.
So I think that's a good idea. We should go with that.
The alternative is we put $250,000.
Yeah. So,
but I think that $250,000 is going to scare people, even though 1% is a lot more money. And but the thing is, the reason why a lot is good is at the end of the day, I think it should be that the office should be deciding what we believe is a good amount. And I would happily, for example, pay $250,000 to a team of lawyers, right? That might be working on a massive class action, right? Did I say $250,000? Yeah, $250,000.
You did say $250,000, yeah. Okay. I do like I think I still like the 1% total budget better.
Yep.
Right? Because that, you said what, so 210 million?
Yes.
So that would allow for a larger amount, because let's say it is a class action lawsuit or something like that, right? And you have 20 claimants, and all of them require FOIAs or this or that, right? There's so many documents being reported. I feel like if we were to set a 250,000, there is the possibility that we would reach that before.
Hey, Tony.
Howdy there.
We're gonna be a couple minutes. Feel free to listen on this, but we're just kind of cooking on some legislation.
All right. Well, if you don't mind me, I'm just gonna try to see if I can draft up a better response.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Do you mind standing right over here on this side?
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, thinking my head's hitting the canopy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're good where you were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's fine too. But whatever you want. All right. I would also write like the 1%, not 1%, but like actually spell it out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I like that. We'll go with that. And of course, if we have any dissenting opinion on that, we can revisit it before it actually goes live.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Red 2, thank you for 59 months. I don't think we need to put an annual budget. What do we call it? 1% of the county account. The money in the county account instead of budget. Because I think allocating a fund amount isn't necessary. Side note, I've already pushed out a bill for discretionary spending, as long as it's backed. And I think the premise of this should probably be similar. You can find that discretionary bill over on the City Hall website. But the general idea is that this should be pretty much a blank check for the county. It's just, it needs to be associated with an explanation as to why we need this amount. And I think that explanation can be summarized as we can scale the difficulty of a case, right? By saying low, medium, high, critical, right? Or something like that. And then simply say X amount of lawyers, X amount of estimated time, boom, there's the price, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then separately, if it's like a very open and shut thing, like, you know, where we're like, listen, this is a typical case, and let's say we get to a spot where we can actually, I'm thinking way down the line, right? 6 lawyers, FOIAs are coming in, right? And you're getting a lot of duplicate cases. We can just rubber stamp that as like, you know, hey, $50,000, close the case, either with a, you know, plea agreement, whatever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Have you thought of the criteria, like in more specific detail that you want to sort them in, or is this just still theory crafting stuff?
like, what is low, medium, critical?
Yeah.
I think that would be kept in a document outside of this, but the legislation should simply state that we should have such a document. And
okay.
it's just each thing we just have to explain off what it is without the legislation saying particularly what that should be. And the reason I'm kind of painting like this is I fully expect, based on the other legislation that we've done, is that when this starts moving forward, it's better not to hyper restrict, so that there's some mobility with, if things aren't working well, we can kind of move on a dime. And as we need to alter legislation to restrict ourselves, we can kind of do so. But
let me think on it a little bit more.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
Generally speaking, I do agree with you.
Okay.
Was there anything else in the PALS Act that you were really interested in, wanted to hear my explanation for?
No, I think that's really good right there.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so then the Clap Act.
Yep. Yes. So
what were your thoughts on this?
So I put some notes in there. The first was we need to be broader in our language.
Yeah, I saw. I think that was just a clerical oversight. If you look at the last line, right, it says create transparency and accountability in law enforcement agencies acting within the county limits of Los Santos.
Absolutely.
So, like, I think just that the verbiage there was just a clerical oversight on my part.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's good. Like, I know what you mean, but knowing how even justices are reading shit right now, I was like, we need to almost be more.
It needs to be spelled out.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if you could add clip art in here, right, and that was something we could admit, I'd even do that at this stage, but unfortunately, that's not an option.
Yeah. A little storybook along.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. If you see this.
And okay, I see your next note was about the Treasury's office.
Yes.
Again, I just threw that in there as a title.
Yep.
But we can easily just adjust that to just the mayor's office.
Yes, absolutely. And then internally, the way that I tend to segment things is I tend to cut the checks, but then those I am cutting it for, you know, well, today, so recently we made a like a web form where requests from different departments or any businesses we're interoperating with, like a mechanic shop that needs reimbursements, they do it all from the same place. So they invoice the office or submit a request, and then we fulfill it. So
okay.
Yeah.
So we can easily make that change. That's no big deal.
Yeah. Yep.
Now for, let's see, your last comment here.
I would say the auditing should be as deemed fit. So because in practice, I would imagine, you know, the administrators of CLAP as well as the mayor's office would have like access to like an Excel sheet or something along those lines, and they should be able to look at it rather freely. And there's two reasons for this. One is so that there is no, you can catch it before the problem gets bad. And then on the flip side, it's safety reasons, right? So if a problem were to be found, you know, you don't want to get litigated on because someone made one mistake for like a week straight, you know?
Yeah.
Let's not say, I wouldn't mind the litigation. It's more the unnecessary litigation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that was the whole point of the audit in general. My thought process on it was that we should write the audit into it so that way it's just a function of the mayor's office instead of requiring, you know, editing to the legislation and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you're saying like an audit is like when you got to check it, but you're not responsible really for what's happening in the in-between? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes. So, you know, you go in and check it, right? It's just an automatic function that, so the mayor's office, right, would be responsible for auditing it, and you can go in, you can audit. We don't even have to have necessarily a time frame. The idea is that I didn't want us to have to go in and change the legislation itself. I wanted it to be a self-working mechanism, right? So that it can easily reflect the current climate.
Oh, it does look like Pigeon.
Requiring to go through any hoops or hurdles, you can just do it.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I do like that. Holy shit, Dr. Naya is awake. Dr. Naya, what's your ping?
Hi, Nino. I just wanted to check on you and how everything's going.
Can you guys give me just a minute, please? I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries.
Dr. Naya, you good?
I was just hunted down. Everything's fine, you know. Everything's fine.
Yeah, what do you
back.
mean? Was it Angel?
No, it wasn't. You wish. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No. I am fine, surely. Just a little weak in the ICU. A bullet to the head. Nothing crazy.
What?
It's fine, you know. I'm good to go.
Do you remember that you're the head of SASM?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. Okay, thank God. All right.
Yeah, I am the head of SAMA. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I didn't forget anything. I was catching up on the things and all the stuff. So, are we in a political crisis already, or what's going on?
Yes. Wait,
Okay,
did you not
great.
get the letter from the state officials?
No.
Holy fuck. So much happened. I was being tracked by the marshals. Angel started sending me threats that I need to stop interfering with the LSPD high command, like as if I can't talk to them. I told her to go fuck off pretty much. And
Hell yeah.
then when I found marshals like trying to follow me around, I requested a FOIA and they rejected that shit. So we contested the whole, you know, the legislation that has the guidelines, how you and I submit like legislation.
Yes. Yeah.
I contested the entire thing because she added a new line in there that says like justices have like no one can contest them. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then she altered the FOIA legislation after I requested it and to like stop people from being able to FOIA, and it's like the biggest dog shit I've ever seen. So the state came back. Yeah.
Look at you changing legislation.
Yeah. And said, yes, that shit is unconstitutional. So you, me, the three justices, and Pred need to come to an agreement as to what the new process is. I've started drafting one with Michael. It's
course.
pretty straightforward. We haven't picked a date yet as to when we're supposed to meet. However, you know, in advance of that, I'd love for you to see what I've got cooking. I think it's pretty fair. But you know, I can send that to you when you want, and I'd love you to see your feedback. I kind of want to do this like in advance of. So I'll tell you this. Me and Pred met Angel that morning after they sent me the response, and she was fucking pissed at me. Like, just off the rip, referred to me as a moron. She texted Pred. She's like, you and that moron, we need to meet. And so,
that's crazy.
I mean, she can say whatever she wants, but that, how am I the moron when she's writing some bullshit? You know what I mean? And got called out for it. So, we went in there and I told her, listen, we all got to meet, right? We can't just meet the three of us, right? Like, you've got two peers. Dr. Naya's not here. So, you know, me and Pred are going to, like, we'll chat about it, like, put our ideas together because we're on a similar page. You know, you can chat with it with the justices, whatever. We can all, like, workshop and we can bring all our ideas to the table. And she goes, no, it's not going to happen that way. And I'm like, what? Like, I was like, motherfucker, did you read what they sent? Like, I think it still didn't, like, click in her head that she's not the queen of San Andreas no more. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of it, she ended up walking out like pissed, right? But here's the thing, right? I'm not on some get rid of angel energy, right? If it happens, it happens. But I want to see shit actually work.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
the priority.
That is the priority, exactly. Because we can swing our fucking, you know, metaphorical cocks all fucking day, right? But how is that gonna help the everyday person, right?
Yep.
So the thing that I'll send you, it kind of says, here's where everybody's slices of the pie are as we interpret it. And, you know, we can discuss our different takes on that. And effectively, we're saying everyone, including the justices, should go through the same process. And that's like kind of where we're leaving it. So
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Otherwise, who checks the justices unless
exactly,
you know, Big Daddy State comes up and here and there to save our asses.
Yeah,
so, yeah, it's
you and I are on the same page. Like, why do we got to call Big Daddy every time? Like, are we looking to piss them off? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, okay, damn.
Yeah.
Well, shit. That seems like a crazy meeting too.
Yeah.
Ooh, you poor thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to Michael so he keeps me updated as well.
Okay. Hell yeah. If you're around I'm out tomorrow. If you're around Thursday, we could set up something. We can go through this more in person and get your thoughts down early.
100%.
Hell yeah.
I'm super down. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. You stay safe, Dr. Nye. If you need anything, please do not hesitate.
No problem. I appreciate you so much,
Yep.
Nino. Bye-bye.
Don't I see you again? It's not that bad. You know, we're winning right now.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, yeah. My husband left to Canada, but yeah, sure.
What?
Everything's fine. Okay. Nino, great talking to you. Bye.
All right. Take care.
Some TSLC.
Wait, what the fuck?
Someone's on the
Oh, shit. Left to Canada? I think because she has BBMC affiliations, and I think they're on Prodigy, so maybe that's what she meant. Left to Canada. All right.
You want to look at my response for a quick 2 seconds?
Yes. Okay.
You know what? I just
Yeah, Dr. Nye is
realized-
great.
You remember the last time we talked and I told you that a LSPD officer reached out to me, but I turned them down? Do you remember that, Nino?
Sorry, say again?
You remember the last time we talked when I told you that an LSPD member reached out to me and tried to hire me for something on behalf of Espino's?
Yes.
But I turned them down.
Yeah.
I think it was for this. The people be Kyle Pred.
Oh, that makes sense.
Both of their names are on there, so.
Yeah, this is. Oh my God, Tony. There's so much bad in these documents. I was reading them before I came down here. I couldn't genuinely. Well, actually, before we go any deeper, let me see what was written. Bro, what am I reading already? What is this 2-hour thing? Like, what is this? Can you fill me in?
Oh, between because she got mad that the judge ruled that, or sorry, approved my motion for basically exculpatory information because they gave incomplete evidence. They gave a search warrant without a signature. They gave a subpoena result without the subpoena. He said yes off the bat, which makes sense because you need the entire picture when you argue these things. She's probably mad that she couldn't refute it because she just lost the Marco case over something like this.
Oh my God, I heard about that. Bro,
Yeah.
I can't believe they fucking threw it out. Oh, you want to hear some crazy shit? Guess who the commanding officer that signed it was?
I don't know. Does it start with an A and rhymes with
Yep.
Angel?
Yep.
Yep.
Bro.
Once again, I'm out of the loop, but it feels like this is another fiasco.
But yeah, the whole back and forth thing was about the fact that Ajax pointed out saying it was disheartening that the prosecution can't find a rebuttal because of what was it? The state's argument that the information is currently available for public view as it has been placed on the hence they cannot provide a rebuttal is disheartening.
I would say that I love Ajax. It would do him good, and if he was here, I'd tell him this, that he has to remember he hasn't been around, and that he's got to. So let me see what he said. Is he around right now?
Yes.
Okay. Let me read this before I speculate, because I have a feeling I know what you're about to say. Please don't do what I think he did. Okay.
Oh, you want to read his responses?
Yeah. I just want to read these verbatim just real quick. I hope Ajax didn't get too cheeky, man. And I know I love when he's cheeky, but like I hope he didn't get too cheeky, because when you're new, sometimes that optics, you know? Cannot provide a rebuttal. Oh, actually, this is good. Oh, wait, this is salient. Wait, this is fine.
Hey, first, how's it going? In what regard? Like,
Wait, this is an argument, though.
But there's no guideline saying that paralegals can't post on there. I mean, Charlotte Spade put up a case, and she doesn't have a bar license.
Wait. Oh my God. You know what? I take everything back. I was fully expecting, based on what you said, Spark. Oh my God, this is so. Oh, you're on the phone.
First, let me call you back.
Oh my God, bro. Okay, so I was fully expecting Ajax actually pressing like heavy, knowing Ajax because he's good at that. So that's what I was thinking. I was about to read. He didn't even say anything bad.
Nope.
That was
That's why I wrote my
extremely
reply to
professional.
Yeah.
What is she? Oh my God. Oh, this is gonna be a juicy case.
First is saying that you know, paralegals aren't supposed to be posting on docket cases. I'm like, but it doesn't say that anywhere. And as
It
my
doesn't,
experience as a
It's
but
a
he
long-standing
yeah,
thing that's just observed
Yeah.
that they should not be.
yeah. I think at the top of this, as I want to hop optics, right?
yeah.
You never want to give your opponent in San Andreas the opportunity to like aim for the eyes. And even though you may be justified to do it legally, that's not the main battle right now. You know what I mean? So
If I might have or might give a suggestion, make sure that your retainership contracts are up to date and currently in effect.
do you have one of those?
Oh, with the pred, no.
Oh, get one immediately.
All right.
Because they can motion to produce retainership contract.
Oh, she's done that shit before. Robin.
Yes, that's. If she needs to, she will go there. So
She has actually. She did
Yeah.
it with Robin.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man, this is oh shit.
yeah, make sure all retainership contracts are legitimate, and that if they are requested, you can produce them, and we'll stand up in court or on the docket.
Why is she saying she wants to sanction you?
Yeah, because Ajax is my paralegal.
Yeah, there's no way he's gonna grant that first motion.
So you think my reply to the strike is appropriate or inappropriate? Because I'm basically saying there are no guidelines to posting besides the guideline of do not post in cases unless you're involved in the guidelines section.
Keep in mind, this is Hallow. He is even more old school than I am, and he might just agree that they shouldn't be, because it's just been upheld for so long.
But to be strike out though,
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit heavy-handed, especially since he didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
there is, I think, a higher percentage chance.
Could he say that, Tony? Could you say you were posting on his laptop? Yeah. And you didn't realize you were logged into Ajax's account? No, don't actually do that.
That'd be
Be
I hacked
interesting.
his laptop. I hacked his laptop.
We're working out of the same office, sir. I forgot to switch accounts.
Well, I think I'm just gonna post this as is. Then, what do you think, Nino?
I don't think Ajax should have ever posted to begin with. And I think that it
Likewise.
is important. Ajax is fantastic, but he needs to work under you regardless of what his past experience is, so that he can pick up on some of the current culture of the DOJ and how things operate. And that is always going to take some time, regardless of how good your strengths were in the past. You know what I mean? He brings very, very sharp skills. It's just those tools aren't going to entirely fit with today's age. You know what I mean? So part of me actually recommends saying that you will speak with him. And a part of me is like, you know what? You should be like, you know what? I'm going to reel him in. You fight that first one, but maybe not the second. I don't know. Just to make sure you're on. Remember, this is a judge that's going to rule over you. So being in his favor is a good thing. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm thinking right now.
I kind of also agree in that.
This is I feel like this is something that Pred needs to weigh in on. With him being the client, this is such a, which strat do you want to use? Part of me thinks that Pred might want you to do the way that you're cooking right now.
Pred's also like a force of nature in his own right, so you should probably try to operate in the line, and that's going to best allow you to adapt. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. I've had a little blurb about you know, however I have spoken to Ajax and will be actively addressing and treating him as I and the court deem fit. I'm also acknowledging that you know, he's kept it professional, he's kept it, you know, pretty concise. He hasn't, you know, insulted anybody. You know, I have spoken to him and we'll be addressing it still.
Yeah, don't roll over completely for him, but
Yeah.
you can do a little dog and pony show.
And then I just ended with, if one were to be striked for unprofessionalism, then we asked Ms. Sparks to review their own behavior in their first doc response to my first set of motions.
Yep, I agree. I mean, brother, she brought that energy first, and then she had a pedantic argument over the word argument. I don't know. Oh, you sent something to me. I just noticed.
Oh yeah.
Are these two separate, or is the latest one what you're thinking?
The first set, only the rebuttal to motion for sanctions I'm keeping as is, and then the rebuttal to strike is for the second motion.
Very well written first response.
Yep. I call it out, like, you know, call it out how it is sometimes, you know. Let me
Yeah.
ping Ajax to come here.
Yep. Can I pull Sera Nade aside while you have a chat with him, and just so we can, I want to make sure that I wrap up with him on the legislation stuff, and then we're all yours, baby. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. All right. Where were we?
Okay, I think we left off talking about wanting the legislation to be self-working.
Oh, before I forget, I forgot Michael had originally cooked up something similar to Hal. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
I've been reading so much legislation. It's I'm forgetting we have dupes. But take a look at this afterwards, and we can see if we can combine PALs in this. Michael does have a copy of Claps and PAL.
Okay.
So, but yeah, let's continue with the Claps one for now. So there we go. All right.
Okay,
Looking back at this. Okay. Oh yes. So you had a breakdown of phases. I think we shouldn't denote any timetables to allow us flexibility.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I initially, when drafting it, was thinking along the lines of I'd like there to be a timetable, and so how I spaced it into different phases were to allow us, I guess, more to protect us from any contest to it, or having somebody look at this and say, well, there's really no implementation plan here, and
I see what you're saying. Oh my god, my mic.
We can slim it down.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I also wanted to put some emphasis on the public awareness, as well as the like when the first audit would happen.
You know what? I like this, and I would say let's go with it, but maybe we say we can do it faster.
Okay, we can remove the time frames. That's really not too big of an issue.
Perfect. Yeah.
But I really wanted to at least keep that, we had a countywide, public awareness campaign, right? We want to get the word out there. And then also, one of the reasons why I wanted to include the local law enforcement, like, to undergo training to understand new standards for civil accountability and stuff like that. We can use this opportunity to sell a different angle to the police, right? They're not going to be happy about it regardless, right? I think we're collectively in agreement there.
You know what? I like this. I'm starting to see the where you're driving this. I do.
Yeah, because the thought process for me, right, is that when we're setting standards, right, for amounts that can be sought for, damages in whichever capacity they are, we have a minimum and a maximum, right, that can be sought in this. So to the public, to you or I, let's say we got involved in something, when they see this, they're like, okay, we can't, there's going to be some guidelines here, and it's probably going to be more than before this legislation, right? They might also look at it as, oh man, there's a maximum. I can't sue them for $20 million. But the reverse of that is that for the police, they're like, oh shit, the base is going up, but at least they can't sue us for $20 million. So we can use it as a positive spin to help the perception of both the public and law enforcement.
I like this a lot. Yeah, okay. You know what? I really do like this. This way, because so we're making this document more than just legislation, but also kind of adhering like, hey, these things are going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Here's what to expect. This isn't just like some fluff.
Yep.
Okay. I say let's send it then. I think after those adjustments, and quite frankly, as we're rolling this out, if we do need to make a legislative adjustment, we have enough here to sustain us probably for the next 4 weeks. And any adjustments, regardless of how long the churning time might take, we can make those over time. You know,
Yeah. We can also add in that we can add in a line where basically we give notice that the different phases may move faster than anticipated.
Yes. Yes.
And we can just write in a public notice will be given, stuff like that.
I love it. I love that.
So that way we can give a like a basic time frame, but let's say, we give 4 weeks, but we write in, hey, if this can happen sooner, it will. Public notice will be given, as well as notice to law enforcement. And then let's say we get it done within the first week, right? We're still covered.
Okay. Yeah. I like that a lot. And this is also a really good framework for what can eventually, in my opinion, become the future of the Bar Association, which is kind of where I would like this to eventually end up, even though that might be a unattainable goal. But I think the surroundings around that I'd rather not bake that in right now because I think that would scare people, especially because there's nothing there yet.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yep. On
a completely separate note, I know this is getting off track from Clap, but it is something that I wanted to bring to your attention just to see what you thought about it. Would you be interested in approaching Pred to form a legislative council?
We sort of already have that. But
in actual structure, right? So, in a sense, right, you form a legislative council, right, through state legislation, through both counties. And from there, right, you can have, let's say, a council of 6, or, well, actually, we need to do 7. So that way there's, a tie-breaking vote. And perhaps that could be... See, I'm still fleshing out the ideas myself.
I would say that off the rip, we had a console before, and that's when July 3rd happened. And so even the premise of a console, I believe, is going to be deemed... It's going to cause a lot of outrage in the public simply due to the undertones, regardless of it even being potentially different. The fact that I have a cabinet, some people have been like, "Oh, so it's like the console," and it's like, no, that's not it. But what would be the function of this thing?
So the idea is that there would be representatives, right, in equal pairing. Ideally, I think what you would want is 2 lawyers and 2 appointed citizens. They could be voted in as well, from each county, right? And then you get somebody who acts as like an arbiter, right? That's mutually agreed by the members of the council. They cast, or they can give guidance, or they can, cast a deciding vote, help work on any disputes. The ultimate goal is an avenue for both Los Santos and Blaine County to have a streamlined, a body that will introduce state legislation in a more streamlined fashion.
I think my recommendation is I don't think that's going to happen. And
Okay.
even though I think this sounds good, in practice, the way that I've seen things happen, so much has to go through me and Pred on a day-to-day basis that I think it would be too much of a system, too many gears in the system. You know what I mean?
Okay.
However, there is a idea that I wanted to float for the for Los Santos County that sort of aligns, because the thing is, once me and Pred are gone, there is going to need to be some sort of transitionary, right? Where and if there's too much dependency at that level between the two counties, it's going to cause a lot of problems, I think, in 2.5 months. However, I believe that once I get things a little bit more in place, when we are talking about state legislation, I think having a body that looks over these things before we both sign it is good. So maybe something in between. For
so would you think maybe two individuals, right, act as representatives on behalf of the mayoral offices of Los Santos and Blaine County? That way you keep it within the department, right? And for any state legislation, they come together to work on it and answer directly to the mayors.
I think that is something. Let me see what Pred thinks on it. But one thing I will say though is, like, I had a very similar idea for the county, with the assumption that isn't. So what I wanted to do was I actually wanted to chop Los Santos County into 5 districts and have representatives of each district make up the voice of said districts. I will say, as time has gone on, I don't really know if a lot of those districts are even got a steady population. And I mean that in the sense that Cypress is popping, Central Los Santos has, the PD in it, let's say. But even the South Side, it's like off and on, you know what I mean? Where things are so wavery that anything that requires too many people to attend, they're not going to attend. And then everything, it will end up feeling like red tape. So.
God, how does that saying go? So the Congress dances, but doesn't move.
Yeah. Oh my God, maybe that's why Congress gets fucking stuck all the time and then they don't get anything done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I want you to keep chewing on this though, and I think as time goes on, especially as you kind of see how these gears are moving, I think the merits of what led you to this idea might evolve into something else that might be more compatible. So,
well, I will say that I would like to be more involved, but I also kind of do want to, like I told you last time, I want to maintain a position of at least publicly facing neutrality on things.
Well, the beauty of my cabinet is the difference between a cabinet member and a non-cabinet member is one has keys and gets paid $800 an hour, while the other doesn't. And now that once discretionary funding passes, et cetera, I mean, money's not a problem, right? And if you would like to join the cabinet in a non-official or official capacity, I'd love to have you. I think.
Why don't we start as non-official and then see how it goes?
Okay, that sounds very good. I think
I'd be in agreement to that.
All right. Okay. Oh yeah. What we should do is, I think sometime Thursday, if you're available, I'd like to have you meet Michael. He's pretty much my number 2. And
I did meet him, but we didn't really talk too much. I met him the other day, I think.
I think
it might have been over a week ago now.
He's written most of the legislation in the county at this point. Maybe most of it. Actually, he's got, I think, more signatures on legislation than the justices do. So,
Well, hey,
yeah,
he's a busy man then.
he is. Yeah, he very much is.
But for
all
you,
right.
it's important to have, you know, the correct pieces in place, and people who are competent, willing is a major thing, and sounds like he is a
Sup,
good
chat
asset to
cool.
you. And
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. I think what we'll do is we'll have you meet him on Thursday. We can talk more about specifics, and that also later this week, because I've got a lot of cabinet members at this point. I think there's like 8, I want to say 9, and we have yet to meet since I got elected, sort of as a collective. So that'll be a good powwow to have as well.
okay,
Yeah.
Just try to inform me about what time frame you're
Absolutely.
thinking.
We have a means of communication that we'll get you attached to, you know.
Excellent.
And we'll keep you as, like, we'll say legal consultant.
Sure.
Yeah.
That works for me.
All right. Oh yeah. Should probably help Tony. Is there something else you want to chew on in the interim? I don't want to put too much on your plate. At the same time, where's your head at with things? Do you want another thing to bite at? Like, what do you actually, you know what you should do? I think before anything else, I would get yourself familiarized with the current legislation and see how the communication's been with City Hall. And
Okay.
I'm also gonna send you a copy of the response from the state officials, so you're kind of appraised to that, because I think that history and current events may very much influence what you want to do next, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I do have a number of ideas
Hmm.
that I had been working on, and a lot of them are not fleshed out by any means. They're more just concept than anything else. And some of it was like, you know, reworking expungement guidelines. I also had a thought process for agricultural growth and gains regulations office, or the Agro Act.
Ooh, okay.
That kind of was birthed from conversations I've had with people who are currently working at, you know, the food stall, and, you know, some of the issues that they were running into.
Some we actually just passed
Yeah,
oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I have not read it in its entirety, but
It's I think through that once passed will give you some very good insight on the realities of what's happening, because there's a lot of things people are saying that do not line up with reality right now. You talk to one stall, they tell you one thing, one farmer, they tell you something else. You know what I mean? And but
okay.
However, you know what would be good? Michael's working on the FOIA, on the, sorry, he's gonna help work on some of the FOIA rewrite and some of the Marshall rewrite. And I think tagging you into that and getting your input on that would be really good, especially since those are the biggest boulders that we got to knock over. They're currently in the way of everything else, is the way I look at it. They're like blocking the dam, so to speak. And
Okay. Yeah, I will happily provide some input.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So another thing that I wanted to work on, and actually considering what's happening with Ajax here, I had worked on an amendment to the lawyer reclassification legislation to give paralegals more protection.
That is a good idea.
So, as it's currently written, right, there's really no protection for them. But I wanted to rewrite like the on-duty status and all that, as well as, let's see, where is it? Confidentiality protections as well. And how I wanted to write into this, because right now, and this has actually happened, a paralegal was brought into interrogation, right, where they attempted to demand what otherwise would be protected information if it was an attorney who was in that seat instead of the paralegal. So I want to give them protections, right? So no government employee, officer, or agency may compel a lawyer or paralegal to disclose confidential client communications. And in this other part, I go on to say I got paralegal assist lawyers in their legal work, but it's not authorized to practice law independently, because that is the standard. Paralegals, while bound to confidentiality in their legal work, operate under the umbrella of attorney-client privilege held by the supervising lawyer.
I think that is a fantastic thing to strike. I think that is actually really, really good.
Because at the moment, right, it is a open field or open season on paralegals. If the police, got out of their chairs and went to do that, right? Like right now, Ajax could be brought in to an interrogation, right? And he has no protections, for confidential information.
Yeah. And if they really poke at the specifics of the legislation, a judge may actually bend to it.
They might.
Yeah. Okay. I very much support that, and not to mention it would likely be the first piece of joint legislation. I don't see Pred not wanting to sign this. That would be state law that actually, a lot of the things we've passed are kind of like fiscally related legislation. This would be the first one that really presses up against the DOJ, so to speak. So,
yeah.
They may push back, which if they do, it is what it is. But I think it's it'll test the borders, so to speak.
Yeah, we could also write in that for protections against disbarment, meaning that we can attempt to force the DOJ to have to go through hoops and hurdles instead of just, a justice or a judge walks up to me today right after this meeting and says, your bar license is gone.
I heard you did something. Fired. I think that's brilliant. I would actually put that at the top of your stack, Sera Nade.
Okay.
I genuinely think so.
All right. Well, so as soon as I make adjustments and we get the final okay from you and maybe Michael on the clap act, at least, then I will jump on that.
Okay.
As my top priority.
That sounds perfect. And in that interim, you could also take a look at that rep thing and see if there's any what's the word? You want to slap those 3 things together instead of keeping it separate. Separate is also good. It's got its own value,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for the moment. If we
All
want to
right.
rejoin them.
Yep. I'll be in a communication with you. We can figure out a time for Thursday. what works for everybody.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, what's going on, gentlemen? We are done with
not
our
too much.
legislative speak. Ajax, well done.
Yes, sir.
Is any word back from the docket?
No, I found that so comical. Like, do you read disrespect at all? in what
No,
said?
I don't. I mean, it started with her. I read it as her having a problem with you referencing what she said as an argument, which isn't that what's happening?
I mean, that is. They're trying to put forth an argument as to why they should have been allowed rebuttal or why they needed more time. I mean, that's literally what it is.
Do you mind speaking up a little, there, Ajax?
Sorry. I wasn't trying to interfere with your guys' conversation over there.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah. I think she mistook the word. You know how sometimes there's two meanings of argument nowadays?
Yeah.
There's like argument, which is what I think most adults like, you know what I mean? You reference, and then there's argument, which is like bickering.
What attorneys reference.
Actively,
Yeah.
you know, bickering, exchanging.
Yeah,
But,
so
you know, argument can just be, you know,
Or making an
standalone point.
argument for something is literally
Yeah.
providing your thoughts and reasons behind the topic, especially when you're in a court setting, which is what this is. Yeah, okay. It is what it is at this point. Yeah.
I mean, she is providing an argument. I'm so confused.
I know. And the other thing is, like, if you look in, you know, her now motions for sanctions and a strike, it's like, but where did I start name calling and being unprofessional? Like, realistically. Like, I complimented the fucking officer.
Honestly, this whole thing is bizarre. Can we open up the can of worms that I started looking at? I started crashing. I had a ride along with with some cops, right? I was like watching some like bank truck shit or whatever, and they got in a shootout with Cypress, and so you know, let me go through this evidence, and I started looking over the raid. See, and mind you, prior to today, I've had so much shit I was actively managing at once.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything that was in that bar that we were talking about in that barn in the days before. There's just you know, there's just so many so I didn't have time to like really sit back and like really process Fred's case.
Okay. So
that
I wanna
raid
interrupt
warrant
really quick.
Yeah.
But before you get into that, because there's another caveat to that, and I understand that you've gone through it, but I want to show you why it's even worse. Okay.
Okay.
Tony, blow his mind.
Let's stand over here closer to the light. And Ajax is still a little quiet, by the way.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh, a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, blow his fucking mind, Tony.
Oh God.
Yeah. Fill in the blanks for me, by the way. It's been a minute, and this whole thing just blew my mind.
Okay.
The whole Sparks
Mr. Mayor, the first thing we'd like you to do is to pull up the expungement legislation, please.
Yep. That's the big one.
Oh, are you talking about the fact that expungement is not inherently defined and therefore must default to the definition of expungement?
Yes, sir. And what is the definition of expungement, Mr. Mayor?
I think we talked about this, or I did with somebody. Well, it means you got to seal the document so that it doesn't exist until there's a ruling. You need a judge to unseal it, pretty much.
Well, so the legal definition of expungement, the base legal definition, is that expungement is a legal process that removes a criminal record from public view, making it as if the arrest or conviction never happened.
Oh yeah, yep, exactly. It gets sealed away.
Yeah, and so those things cannot be used in matters of furthering investigations and things of that nature because police would not have access to those records because they are out of the system. They're gone. They would have to be unsealed by a judge with a request from an attorney. Hence, the majority of their prior
Wait.
probable cause from the
I
date
did with
of
you
Pred's
guys, but
expungement,
someone
which was
talked to
after
me
the
about this
25th
in
of
game.
July,
I thought we knew about this.
is inherently obsolete.
I tend to agree, and there should be no inherent notion that, like, oh wait, Tony, you and I spoke about this last night, right?
Not the expungement part.
What the fuck? Where am I? Like, did I dream this?
No, I
know.
think because I did bring up an inkling before about like, wait, he's been expunged, but I didn't have it fleshed out like Ajax did.
Oh yeah. Okay, I think we talked about this last. We were both cooked.
Because I asked you, I was like, can they do that? Can they take somebody's past as a
Yes,
expunged citizen?"
yes.
So I asked you
It
what
was
they
that
do
conversation.
historically.
I may have
Yeah.
been, yes. So that absolutely, and I think that is a very good argument to make. I genuinely think at a baseline, clearly justice is included, right? Given recent events, is that people are forgetting that what existed before this Constitution literally is not a part of any of our legal systems.
Yeah.
And that just because it used to be doesn't mean it is. In the same vein, like, I'm going to use an example, not to go super off topic. Our penal code is actually fucked right now because the penal code has no legislative backing for anywhere. So, like, you have to consistently will be finding yourself getting possibly a charge that is not actually something that, you know, there might be something in the penal code that shouldn't be in the penal code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, I think that's a great argument to be making.
I do too, because the thing that Tony had asked me about last night when we were going through this was, well, then why can't they just apply what they think that it's supposed to mean? So because it's not properly defined, they have to go by what the legal definition of the term is. In order for them to change it, this case will have to get dismissed because they're not going to be able to convict on it. And they would have to go through and create case law based on it to then update the legislation, because that is the only way that the DOJ is allowed to change or modify any legislation or put forth any legislation, is through the judicial process of going to court.
Or going through the other process, which is currently on pause.
Well, correct, but that's for if they want to push something through and have it reviewed. Or to push something through uncontested, it has to be a matter of judicial process, which involves a court case.
Yep, agreed.
And that's practically how the Suarez case law got brought forth. They did not award anything for the unlawful arrest, but they ended up making it into a case law. So, yeah. So there's that. And they can't go back after defining it because, you know, Ajax brought up that's definition of double jeopardy if they try to reapply the new definition to Pred.
Yeah, it would have already been dismissed. They cannot then retroactively apply it.
Yeah.
Because he has to be found not guilty in order for it to get dismissed.
In addition to that, besides the expungement, there's also what was it?
Well, it was a lot of it was them using shit that's well outside of the statute.
I was thinking of the statute of limitations law legislation. That's what it was. The statute of limitations legislation does allow for search warrants to utilize older incidences, given that they are explained why they're relevant and given justification for using it. You saw the math. They never justified it. They just said, there's 10, now there's 4.
Oh my God.
There's 2.
So let's break that down. That's where I started crashing out. I do not understand, and I'm not trying to be overtly mean here, how someone could have soberly, as a law enforcement officer, signed this warrant as a command member. I actually do not hold much of this accountable to either of the two LSPD officers, because when you have a shadow that can gut your job away, you're going to do as they infer, right?
Yeah, unless you honestly have the integrity and backbone to stand against it, yeah, you're going to
Yep.
do what you're told.
Now, when I read this, I don't see how you can be sober and sign this warrant. I do not understand how a judge could be sober and sign this warrant. I do not understand genuinely how you could read this and see how they're building up probable cause for what is a litany of charges. So let me point out a couple things. By the sheer display of them listing 6 charges there, they are inherently displaying that they're unsure exactly what they're looking for. They're unsure exactly what crime they perceived has occurred. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. Is that if you believe someone is stockpiling, which is kind of what
sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Is that Justice Bailey on Twitter?
Oh, yeah, he might be a cabinet member soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just, I sorry, that popped up and I had a squirrel moment.
So let me just text him real quick.
And I haven't talked to Bailey in years.
Want some tea. It's gotten spicy.
Many years, in fact.
So the raid warrant reads like they're implying or pointing at stockpiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't really underlined any reason for the remaining charges on there, so that stood out for me, right? But then it goes on to mention the 10 guns. I'm not too concerned about that, right? They're trying to paint history. I get it, right? He has a potential history. You can keep that. But then they go on to reference 2 weapons. And I'm bear in mind, I am giving you my best effort at trying to unpack what is a absolute crap warrant, right? I can barely tell what the fuck the writer is trying to say, right? Let alone how anyone read this and made sense of it. They reference 2 guns, 2 serial numbers, and they say these are the 2 things, the 2 weapons that lead us to believe that there might be more in his properties, right? And then they go and reference a different 2 guns at the end of the report.
Mm-hmm.
A different 2 that are then in the subpoena for the phone records and the bank records.
Mm-hmm.
They took all their PC and they threw out all the trash that turned out not sticking and created a new set of PC for the subpoena and phone records. Are you following me?
I am. And one thing I wanted to point out with the subpoenas in relation to the raid is if you suspected someone of purchasing a bunch of guns and holding on to them, wouldn't you subpoena their bank records before you did a raid?
Yes, 1,000%.
That didn't take place before.
Nope. If you
No.
look at
After.
the raids were a day before.
It's worse.
God, I would have denied that.
It's you should show him the raid warrant. I genuinely cannot read this thing. Like, and I'm not
I get a headache
like
trying to read it because it's so bad.
I do not believe that this was soberly read. It is, and I've read a lot of raid warrants in my life. Trust me, a lot of them. Maybe not as much as Sera Nade, but a lot. This may take the cake for one of the worst raid warrants I've ever read. It does not make any sense. I would have thrown this back. I would have thrown it back. I would have been like, look, make this make it make sense. Like, you need to be able to comprehend the breakdown of what's being stated, right? Yeah. Here's the history. Here's the history of the first gun. Here's the background of the second gun. Here's how we're articulating that these two pieces of evidence leads us to believe, you know, there's more weapons. Ideally, with the bank records and the subpoenas to back it, especially when you're going to make the claim that there might be sales transactions, right? Like, how are you going to say it's a raid warrant for a sales transaction, but there's no transaction history, right? When you have the tools for it. And furthermore, phone and bank records are easier to get than a raid warrant. So what the fuck?
That's true.
Yeah, subpoenas are an investigative tool.
Yes. Now, here's where it really takes a cake. I knew that this is a night raid, right?
Yeah.
The description of the night raid. Oh, I'm just bringing it up. It reads, request for night raid. Due to the nature of the ongoing investigation, with the mayor of Blaine County being the suspect, it would be in the best interest of the state for this to be conducted as a night search to alleviate any resistance towards the LSPD or BCSO. How the fuck did a judge say this made sense? Like, let me break this down. Night raids, historically, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, are utilized when you've got a large, okay, like case number one, you got a suspect, guy needs to go to sleep. You're gonna raid him tonight. You ain't fucking waiting for this guy. You know what I mean? Night raid just in case we need to, right? Don't keep him. Don't need to have him stay awake in Bolingbrook, whatever, right? Number two, it's a long ongoing investigation. You don't know if you're doing the raid in the morning and the night. In other words, you're doing it in the event the guy's not around, right? I don't know if I've ever seen a raid warrant where someone's like, yo, we got to make sure we do it when they're all asleep.
Yeah, I mean,
to fight us. Because that's what this says.
Too much because night warrants became a thing after I left.
So I have seen arguments made for night searches based on articulated threats to the police department.
Yes.
But
okay.
just saying to alleviate any resistance, it's odd in that they're referencing the mayor of Blaine County, not a highly organized
exactly
or something like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, what? Like, I'm not sure. Maybe there were some like discussions had that are not in record here. But where's the article for what resistance is supposed to mean here?
In the way that this is written, it is inferring that the mayor of Blaine County, by definition of this role, by consequence of this role, is going to have will have resistance.
You know what's even funnier with the subpoena?
What's even funnier, real quick, is that the resistance happened because it was a night raid. I mean,
that is pretty funny,
bro. People in the county are gonna know, how are you gonna kick this motherfucker's brand new warehouse open while he's asleep?
Well, not only that, but when you read the subpoena that they pushed through, right? It states that during investigations, officers did not see the Paleto Great Ocean Highway 230 in his properties. So if over
Wait,
the course
where?
of their, at the bottom of both subpoenas, bottom of both subpoenas. Upon raiding Calpred's property in Paleto Great Ocean Highway 230 and his vehicles, Spade and officers failed to locate firearms, but instead found a weed grow op containing 363 plants and equipment. During investigations, officers did not see Paleto Great Ocean Highway 230 in his properties. His properties was bought within 2 days prior to the raid. Officers wished to find evidence of buying and selling weapons, buying and selling weed, and the contact before purchases of this property via phone calls and text messages.
They admitted to it then.
Yeah, so if they didn't find the property during the course of their investigations, how'd they find
How
the
did it
property?
get into the scope? How did it get into the scope? How? So they fucking knew when they did the warrant. They're like, oh, something popped up. We raided. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, wait till you hear that apparently this was a potentially known weed op. And
I'm sorry?
yes, exactly. So this is where it's important to talk to the buyer, that the person he bought it from. Because the way it sounded like to me, the marshals already had an idea what the fuck it was for. So that entire notion is so exculpatory, and where the fuck is that info? But the problem is that I don't think they necessarily understand that their knowledge and information regarding this warehouse potentially being weed related is exculpatory for his exoneration.
Correct.
Because the big defense here is, I literally bought it, went to sleep, and you raided it. I didn't know what was inside.
Never went into it. He was asked to
Which
wait
requires an
until
affirmative
after the
defense,
wedding.
and that cannot happen without that other information. Sorry to cut you off there, Ajax.
No, you're fine. I was saying he was from what I remember being told, he was asked to wait until after whatever wedding, I think it's Winsong's wedding that was going to be going on, to take full possession of the property, because it was all set up for the wedding, all decorated and all that sort of stuff. And he's like, sure, and then went to sleep. And the embezzlement portion is hilarious.
Oh, shit.
Because again, him, Leah, and myself were literally talking about purchasing a warehouse up north for the purposes of a town hall and community center for the county. And we understood that it was going to be expensive because there were none on the open market at the current time. And we told him, yeah, man, just do what you got to do and let's get it so we can do our town halls and shit.
Gentlemen, I got to head to a meeting, yeah?
No, you're good. I've actually got one here in about 30 minutes.
All right.
Pop out for.
Hey, good convo. This thing is fucked. To be honest.
We'll talk more about pre-existing knowledge later.
Oh, yeah.
We'll definitely need to go over that.
Y'all take care.